Hey everyone, welcome back to Let Shine Desserts, where you can get your daily dose of baking, the Word of God, decorating, and much, much more. So as you may see in the title, we are going to be making my sister's birthday cake. So this is kind of going off of a video that you might see before this or off of this, but in a short, I had explained that I was making some test cupcakes of like red velvet and my vanilla, lemon, all that stuff. And so I tried the test cupcakes in a cupcake recipe that I had made as like a test some days before. And I thought these are actually pretty nice. Like they were softer than my usual ones. But the thing about them is they don't have as much flavor to it. They're really soft, but it's not really that sweet. So basically I wanted to try it in cake form as I'm making here right now. So I added a little bit more extract, so that was like the the vanilla extract, and I didn't change the sugar amount just because I wanted to make sure that the like texture and everything wasn't gonna like mess up in a bit. But I think I could still try that even if it's just a little bit, because I think it could still be a little bit better. But I basically doubled this recipe so then it could fit an 8-inch cake. And I'm making a Funfetii cake, if you can't already tell. Just the vanilla, and then it's going to be mixing with sprinkles. But the thing about it is that the sprinkles that I got from my dad, it was the like nonpareils, the little small, tiniest rainbow ball ones. And the thing about it, I think it has kind of like an interesting taste to it, because I feel like it gave an interesting taste to the cake. I don't know. I can't really tell if it was just the sprinkles or if it was the cake itself. But basically, when I was mixing it into the cake, I did use the paddle attachment and did try to kind of mix that so I can mix it in a little bit faster, as you are about to see. But then it started to make it kind of like color bleed, and so they kind of got mixed in. So I tried adding a little bit more and then mixing it by hand, but it still did the same thing. So I don't think these sprinkles are right for making it in cake, because I did see someone else do it and it looked fine generally, but I don't know what really happened. But I did have to take them out of these pans because it wasn't actually incorporated all the way. With this cake recipe, I wanted to make sure that it was still soft enough, so I didn't want to overmix it, but then still obviously be mixed well enough. So I tried using jumbo cupcakes, and this is what the cupcakes look like when I put it in some cupcake liners. They're really, really big. But right here, we are making the frosting, and I did a little different thing again. So I'm doing two totally different recipes than what I usually use. So for my frosting, it usually has like a buttery flavor to it, where it's still sweet, but like not too sweet, I don't think. But this time I tried adding more sugar, because sometimes people don't like the more buttery flavor you get from it. So I added 6 cups of sugar to 2 cups of butter, as I followed in a recipe from Mimi's Baked Goods, at least the one that she has in her short, the most recent one that I've seen of her recipe. And I tried doing that. The thing is, it's still very overly sweet. So yeah, I wasn't really too confident with this cake, because when I gave it to people at my school, I was just like kind of like, I hope they like it. Please like it. I was just like, please like it in some sort of way, because at first I didn't like it. When I tried it on the second day, it tasted good. I will say my full like rating for this later on, but we're basically dyeing it blue because my sister wanted a sky blue cake, but this kind of did like cyan. So I had to add in like maybe 3 drops to get it to this. So maybe it was also the food coloring that gave it an interesting, not bitter, but like a really interesting, weird taste to it. I don't know. There was just something going on with this cake and the icing that just, it didn't fit right together. I don't know why. Maybe it was the food coloring. This is Chef Masters. Maybe it was just the amount of sugar, or I don't really know. But basically, a part broke off from this cake layers, so I did have to add in some icing to fill in the gap. So some people might have gotten pieces that had like extra icing. It was interesting. But anyways, so I'm adding in the simple syrup, which I did add more vanilla extract into this to give it more of a vanilla taste. That could be something that makes it taste different, because I did add this little simple syrup with vanilla extract. It wasn't too much, but it did have some in there. And now we're just currently doing a thin layer in the middle. I didn't want it to be too thick because there's going to be frosting on the outside as well. And that's why I tried to do a thin layer where it's not too much, but not obviously too little. And now adding on the second layer. This one was one that was fine. It didn't like break in any way, but I did have to kind of rearrange how I placed it because I did not place it too well. I was thinking of using like straws to help keep this stable, but I was like, let me just try to keep going and see how it works. As you can see, I'm trying to lift it up because yeah, it wasn't placed correctly. But now we're doing the crumb coat, and the crumb coat, I was like, okay, hopefully this works, because usually, I don't know, for some reason the crumb coat doesn't always work. And I usually freeze the cakes and then I do the crumb coat, but this is the day of my sister's birthday, and I tried letting it cool and then crumb coating and doing all that all in one day. So it was softer and like, yeah. But it did end up turning fine and all right. With the crumb coat, you don't want to have too much icing. You want to try to make it as like clear as possible to be able to see the cake, because you don't want, again, extra frosting. But this is what it looks like. So now we're going on for the actual final layer or final coat of icing or frosting. So basically what you wanted was this like butterfly type of thing, and kind of those like cakes that like not really rustic, just kind of like simple and wavy and interesting with like the pearls and the butterflies. But I realized as I was making this is going to be too short, because I decided to do a wider cake instead of a taller cake, because usually I use 6-inch, but like some people were saying like, oh, then the cake will finish in like maybe 2 days because of how small it is, and with an 8-inch it might feed more people. But then the thing is, it's going to be shorter depending on how many layers you do, and I'm not going to have like 6 layers of 8-inch cake. So I kind of changed it up as I went. When I was doing this like frosting portion, it was like working out halfway. I don't really like when like, oh, one side of the cake looks good where it's smooth, but then the other side, like you can see through the cake, and it's just really frustrating. The thing is, I don't like that when it always happens, because it's like, is it because I don't have enough frosting? Is it because of how I'm doing it that it's just not working? But like me, I really don't like seeing cake visible at all. So I try making it as like no cake visible, smooth as possible if I can. When I see people who are like more experienced and you can still see like a teensy bit of the cake, it's like, come on now, you can easily cover that up. Me, I'm still learning, so it's fine. And if it isn't super duper smooth, then it's okay. Like this one, it was good. It seemed good, and I started to smooth the tops and like smooth more of the sides. And this is when I was going to still try doing that little wavy portion that would have been for like the butterfly cake if I could. But then I kind of ruined it, so I had to coat the cake all over again. So the top, it looked fine. Here, it started to look weird and indenting the cake, and it just was not good. So I was like, oh, no, I got to scrap this. Let me just start all over again. But basically I decided, let's just go for a smooth cake, smooth top. Here was where the time was starting to like cut down a little bit, because my dad kept saying like, oh, come on, hurry up, let's do this. And the thing is, I might have made the cake earlier on, like the day before, but I just wanted it to be as fresh as possible. But I might try that next time and see like, will it still be soft and moist or not? But I just added a border at the top, and I was going to keep it like that. But then I was like, let me just add a border at the bottom because it will look better. And I could have still added on the butterflies here, but I think I forgot and I just didn't. I was going to use like blue butterflies to match the blue theme, but then we didn't have time to buy any. So I was going to use the purple ones that I had for my mom's cake. But again, I forgot about it. So I just wrote the 7 on the top. and then just did like a little expression. I could have wrote her name. I was thinking about it, but like I didn't really have to want to go through all that. And everyone's saying like, oh, come on, hurry up, let's take some pictures, get the cake done, yada yada you. The thing about me is I really hate when cake looks so good, but then like it doesn't taste as good. So the thing is, in the end, the cake tasted good, but like it had an interesting taste. Like the cake, I think, was soft. I think I overmixed it just a little bit when I had to put it back into the pan, but it like had a interesting texture with the frosting. Like it was as if it was like not like the consistency of both, like the frosting didn't go with the cake. Even my little sister said that as well, but it just didn't all fit together. So basically, the cake taste itself, I think it was fine. As of right now, I just ate a cupcake that I kept in the freezer to see how well the softness would still be. But besides the point, the frosting, I know it was just like overly sweet. I still, let me just say, use this for another video that you might see. And I tried making it a little bit less sweet because the thing is, I did like some sort of taste test with it. And I had added like maybe 5 cups, and I was going to have like my mom taste it because like, you know, she doesn't really like the buttery taste that my old frosting would usually get. But then I was like, when I tasted it, I was like, I can taste some salt. I didn't mix this in all the way. And I was like, let me just add in the last cup of sugar. Like, it doesn't matter, whatever. But I shouldn't have done that. I should have left it at 5 cups, remixed it, and see what everyone else thought. But anyways, that's the end of today's video. I would rate the cake maybe 6 out of 10. Like, I would eat it if it was there. It wouldn't be something I would want for my cake, but it really all depends on the person. The thing about things like this, like frosting and cake flavors and all that, is that it really depends on the person. Someone might want something that's really sweet. Someone might want something that has like a nice rich flavor to it, something that's, I don't know, they might just want certain something that you might not do or you might not like. So then you make something that you like, but then others don't like it. And then some people do. And it's just really all depends on the person. So for me, it doesn't have to be like the best cupcake, vanilla cupcake you've ever had, or a cake that you've ever had, or the best frosting. I just wanted to make it where it's like sweet enough, but it's not like overly sweet, but not too buttery. I want the cupcake to have flavor, nice and sweet like it's supposed to be, and vanilla-y. So then when you eat it all together, the texture, the taste, the consistency, the everything, it's just like, this is nice. Like, I would buy these if like, let's say the person was now going to start selling them. Like, I got it for free. I would buy these. Like, that's what I want it to be like. Not where it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't really want to know. I don't know if I would buy these. Or like, these are the best cupcakes ever. Like, I would buy these for sure. Because that might be hard. And your preference might not be somebody else's preference. So it's really hard to make it for every single person. But we're going to keep trying on these. I might be doing another thing when I'm going to test out another cake recipe. I don't really like testing out recipes because then there's a bunch of cake left over. I could freeze it and all that, but like, I don't know if I really want to do that. And it takes a lot of time, because if it doesn't work out, then it's like cake that's wasted. Even if it tastes good a little bit, it's just not the way that you want it, or it might not even taste good at all. So you just got to be really careful when you're trying to test out recipes and look for new recipes. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions or tips or anything you want me to bake in the future, feel free to comment down below, and have a blessed week. Bye.